Superman is gone. Can Batman actually save the universe from an alien threat without Superman? This is a series called Batman Fortress, and some crazy stuff happens in this 8-issue story, so I thought it'd be fun to cover over here. We're Comicstorian. We take comic books and current issues, create audio dramas about them, with the purpose being helping you understand what's going on in the world of comics, and let you know what to add to your collection at your local comic book store or digital retailer. We have 2 shows, complete stories that do 2 to 3 issues which feature the title, and full stories, which are long-form videos combining all of the shorter ones into a movie-style format. Now, there isn't much setup to give you for Superman being missing, like that's literally it, or we're going to discover that very soon at the intro of this comic. So, let's just get into Batman Fortress, issue number 1. The lights in Gotham City have gone out, which means that it doesn't take long before criminals decide that it's time to break into Wayne Manor. As the goons make their way through the halls, one finds a pearl necklace on the statue of Martha Wayne. He reaches for it before a voice calls out to him from the darkness. "Careful with those. They belong to my mother," Bruce says as he steps out of the darkness. One of the thugs tries to take him down, but Bruce ducks under the clumsy blow, knocking him out with one punch. "Tell me you're smarter than that guy," Bruce says as he looks at the other one. The goon raises a gun, but is quickly taken out by Alfred from behind. "Still got it, Alfred," Bruce says with a small smile before asking his faithful friend to leave the goons in the safe room until the police can come. Alfred nods but informs Bruce that things are much worse than a citywide blackout. Meanwhile, atop the GCPD, Gordon and Bullock are overseeing a few uniforms hooking up car batteries to the bat signal. Bullock isn't happy about taking some of their cars off the streets, but Gordon doesn't like the idea that his people are out there anyway, not with radios down and no way to call for backup. "Think we got it, Chief," one of the uniforms state, and Gordon looks into the sky. "Light it up." The bat signal shines into the darkness of Gotham's sky, offering both hope and fear to those in the city. "You think he'll show?" one of the uniforms asks nicely, and Gordon nods his head. "Well, he does like the dark. All we can do is hope, now more than ever." Back in the Batcave, Alfred and Bruce watch the feeds from their only remaining satellite. Alfred explaining that the blackout must have taken a hold of the entire world, and that social unrest has already begun. 7 billion people without power, and unable to communicate. This is only going to get worse. We need to get to the bottom of this, fast, Batman says, and he looks at Alfred. "You said Metropolis was in the dark too. Any sign of Boy Scout?" But Alfred informs him that their sensors cannot find any trace of Superman, which shocks Batman, and he asks Alfred to send out a message to the League to get ready to fight whatever this is. He then turns back to the screens. "Clark, where the hell are you?" Later, he joins Gordon on the rooftop of the GCPD. "Busy night." "You don't know the half of it," Gordon tells him, informing Batman that their radios and 911 are down. "What's the other half?" Batman asks, and Gordon sighs, telling him that there has been a mass breakout at Arkham Asylum. "You know those electric locks that we fitted last year? Every one of them has been popped open when they lost power." Batman nods, handing Gordon some instructions that explain how to get their radios past whatever is jamming them. "It'll be patchy, but good enough. And I have a dispatch monitor for the second frequency. That'll be me. I'll call them in as I bag them," Batman says as he leaps off into the night. He moves through the city, watching as the looting begins and stopping those that would be terrorizing others with fear. Penguin is the first that he comes across, who uses the darkness to drown those who stood against his operations. But Batman takes him down, saving the drowning woman. The Joker is next, having stolen a school bus of children who are just trying to get home. But when the Joker looks up, Batman stands in his headlights. Joker hits the gas, and Batman simply raises his 1 million lumen flashlight, blinding the Joker. Joker swerves off the road and into the guardrail, and as the bus hangs precariously off the Gotham Bridge, Batman helps the children out the back. Joker hangs on barely in the front of the bus, and for a brief moment, Batman thinks about letting him fall. But he knows that he can never explain it to the children that were watching them. So he catches the Joker and merely calls it in. The night continues. Batman saves dozens of others before the sun finally comes up, bringing sanity back to the city. He then returns to the Batcave, where Alfred explains that the sensor has detected a UFO hovering in the lower atmosphere over the Indian Ocean. That their sensors have also picked up that the craft is broadcasting the signal that is causing the global blackout and communications disruption. So Batman only has one thought. That thing is a warship. The disruption may be a prelude to an attack, paralyzing our defenses, softening us up in advance of God only knows what. Alfred agrees. In the absence of any further data, it would seem the most coherent theory at this stage. But there's still no word from Superman. So Batman turns to leave knowing that he has no other choice as he heads to join the rest of the Justice League. They declared war when they shut down our planet. Now we're gonna hit back. Hard! At the Justice League emergency headquarters, the League gathers around the meeting table as Batman explains everything that he's discovered, including the fact that Superman is missing. Yeah, Jessica's not here either, Barry points out, and they begin to argue about what they should do, but Batman stomps them. Enough. Every minute that we allow this thing to continue starving the Earth of power, people are dying. Wonder Woman nods as she informs them that the combined air forces of several countries are planning to strike on the craft, and that the League will be joining them. Batman nods as he looks at the group. Pre-flight prep at 15. Let's get this done. So a short time later, the massive air wing flies over the Indian Ocean with the Justice League out front. Strike leader to all wings. We have special guests alongside us today. Can't say I've ever flown with a bat before, but it's an honor to have you with us, the flight leader says over the comms, and Batman tips a wing to him with the Batwing. Just here to help, Major. The fighter wings quickly come into range of the strange alien aircraft and they open fire, but their missiles bounce off the ship. Having no effect and ignoring Batman's advice, the fighter wings begin to open fire with their machine guns, but it also has no effect. But the ship suddenly seems to launch strange glowing drones that zip around, cutting through the fighter jets like they're nothing. Flash begins to run along the flying ruins of dozens of fighters. This might be a good time to remind you guys that I can't fly, he shouts over the radio, managing to leap onto the Batwing. Aboard the invisible jet, Arthur is asking Diana to get close to the ship, and he leaps off of the plane just as the drone rips through its wing. With a bellow of rage, he buries his trident into the ship's hull, but is shocked as it absorbs both him and the weapon. Arthur's in trouble, Barry shouts to Batman. I see. Stick to the plan. He asks Barry to begin vibrating at super speed and try to punch a hole through the ship's hull. You want me to turn into a human missile? Barry asks in shock. What the hell? I'll give it a shot, he shouts to Batman. And the rest of the League gathers around the Batwing as they barrel towards the alien ship, preparing to make their final assault. Let's do this together, Batman shouts as Jean, Hawkman, and Cyborg provide covering fire, and the Flash begins to vibrate until he launches himself into the ship. But the drones lash out at them, knocking him out of the sky, cutting through the Batwing. As Batman begins to plummet towards the ocean below, he watches as Diana, Jean, and Hawkman are all absorbed into the alien craft. Cyborg continues to fight until he's suddenly cut in half, his eyes widening in shock as he begins to fall. Later, aboard the USS Gerald Ford, the ship's captain is giving Batman the bad news. They managed to save Barry, but his leg is broken and the Flash is out of commission. They were able to round up Cyborg's remains, but they're unable to stabilize him and he doesn't have long. Left alone, Batman steps over to his friend. Victor, he says softly. He tells Victor to rest, but Cyborg knows that he doesn't have a lot of time. He quickly explains to Batman that he managed to scan the ship, that it's made up of a combination of alien technology, including Kryptonian. And then he begins to fade, looking up to Batman. If anyone can save our friends, this planet, it's you, he gasps, passing away. Much later, Batman returns to the Batcave and Alfred is shocked by Bruce's appearance. He suggests that he should rest up before trying to come up with a new plan, but Batman turns glaring at him and Alfred sighs. I'm certainly no stranger to that look. I'll bring down some coffee and get you something to eat, he says before leaving Bruce alone. Bruce finally sighs, placing the case that he's been holding on the counter, and with another sigh, he clicks the locks, opening it, revealing Cyborg's severed head. Sorry about this, my friend, but you and I have work to do. Meanwhile, over in Smallville, a golden egg that matches the massive ship lands in the cornfields outside of the former Kent farm. 3 aliens get out following the unique signature of the last son of Krypton, but they find the house is only full of moving boxes. A man comes in with his family demanding to know what the aliens are doing. We come in peace, one named Vigil says, and another glares at the humans. As long as you answer our questions, where is the Kryptonian? She shouts. Family doesn't understand why they're looking for Superman, but they also don't know where he is. We just moved in a few days ago, the father says, and Vigil nods, agreeing to leave. I advise you do the same. This place has been tainted by his presence. It must now be cleansed. Moments later, the 3 aliens return to their ship as the farm is burning behind them. Back in the Batcave, Bruce is going through the data that Cyborg collected, informing Alfred that the alien craft is made up of a combination of several different alien technologies. Whoever these aliens are, they aren't Kryptonians, but they've acquired Kryptonian tech somehow and assimilated it into their own, augmented it. Batman explains to Alfred, who is fascinated by the idea. Bruce drinks from his coffee cup. Clark's the key to all of this, one way or another, Bruce explains, but he also tells Alfred that there is still no sign of Superman, and he doesn't understand why he would disappear right before the invasion. He stands trying to rub exhaustion out of his eyes, and Alfred looks at him with concern. Sir, I really must insist that you get some sleep. Please don't make me change the Wi-Fi password. Bruce finally agrees and tells him that he must make an intergalactic call first. So within moments, his message is received by the Guardians of Oa, who inform him that the Green Lanterns will not be aiding Earth in this endeavor. Earth is hardly defenseless. What about your Kryptonian? The Guardians ask, and Batman is shocked. Wait, do you know something about this? The Guardians inform him that due to intergalactic politics, they are unable to help, and Batman glares at them angrily. I should have known. I always suspected that you people were a bunch of bureaucrats, much more interested in your rules and regulations than doing what's right. But the Guardians cut off his message, and he stands alone in the Batcave, defeated. No luck, sir, Alfred says as he joins him, and Bruce shakes his head, angry and shocked by what he has to do now. Who he has to go to for help. The only man smart enough to help him solve this project. Sir, surely you're not proposing, Alfred begins, but Bruce interrupts him. I don't like it either, Alfred, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Meanwhile, the trio of aliens have arrived in Metropolis following Superman's signature to the Daily Planet, where they are greeted by a shotgun-toting Perry White. The aliens suggest that Superman's signature matches that of Clark Kent, and Perry begins to laugh. The aliens all sigh with exasperation. I'll ask again, where is he? Vigil demands, and Perry chews on his cigar as he explains that Clark took all of his vacation time a few days ago, but he doesn't know where he is. The aliens turn to leave, and Perry raises the shotgun. Kent's got nothing to do with this, and he's my second best reporter. I'll be damned if I'm gonna let you. But the alien known as Atlantis raises their hand, and Perry suddenly dissolves into ash before their eyes. They leave him there as they turn and walk away. Meanwhile, Batman has discovered the location of the President of the United States. He slips inside the CIA black site in Australia, where he discovers that the President is having a meeting with his cabinet. The guards try to stop Batman, but of course, Batman moves through them in seconds. The rest of the Secret Service stand preparing to fire, but President Lex Luthor raises his hand. Stand down, we know each other. Luthor. And Lex smiles wider. Can't bring yourself to say Mr. President, can you? He says as he leads Batman into the makeshift Oval Office that he has built on the black site. Lex sits at his desk as Batman fills him in on everything that has happened. What's your plan? Whoever these aliens are, they're equipped with extremely advanced technology. We have a chance in hell against it, unless we get our hands on some Kryptonian tech of our own. Lex raises an eyebrow and leans in, very intrigued. There's only one place on this planet that has what we need, but we know where it is, and we know that he's not home. Lex realizes that Batman is speaking of Superman's Fortress of Solitude. He stands up, offering his hand as an agreement. You know, I never thought I'd see the day that the two of us are teaming up on anything. But you had me at, let's go rob Superman's house, he says with a big smile. And that concludes Batman Fortress, or at least the first part of it. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we're going to be bringing you more of Batman Fortress on a weekly basis, and you don't want to miss those. Don't forget to also check back as we're bringing you Dawn of DC, the relaunch of the DC brand. Anyway, I'm Benny, this is Comicstorian, and I'll see you next time right here.